By the time this is done,
I had a generic medication. That went
and he's still fighting.
Okay, are we ready to begin?
Yes.
If I could call the meeting of the Cumberland Fire District to order. I will first take a roll call. Commissioner Archibald?
Here.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Santoro?
Here.
Commissioner Hogan?
Here.
Commissioner Picone?
Here.
Commissioner Scullin? Here. Commissioner Willett is here. Can we please stand? Oh,
I took it out of order because more people would show up, I thought.
okay.
You can do it now, or?
Let's do it now and then just go right into executive session. All right, thank you. If we could have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I would like to move into executive session. We've set up the table around here. So,
I'll make a
You
motion.
need a motion.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to go into executive
sorry,
session.
thank you. Okay, the motion is, motion is made by, boy, it feels like it's been
It has.
months since we've had a meeting, by Commissioner Hogan. Seconded, I believe that was by Commissioner Santoro. All in favor of moving into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0 into executive session. Thank you. All right, is there a motion to seal our executives?
But
Motion,
Jim's not here. Commissioner Scullin.
Commissioner Scullin had to leave.
Oh, he left for the rest of the
He
meeting.
left for the rest
Oh,
of
I'm
the
sorry.
meeting.
I
Left?
didn't know that.
Yeah, sorry.
Motion to seal the minutes from executive session?
Motion by Commissioner Santoro is a second. Is there a second?
So moved. I'm sorry, second.
Second by Commissioner Hogan. All in favor of sealing the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-6-0. Sorry. Okay. Under general announcements, Commissioners, you will find a copy of the collective bargaining agreement. We are approaching a change in leadership for the fire committee. And I was thinking that with your 2 years' experience on the board, that you may have some ideas about any changes that you could foresee would be effective, anything that could support the fire department, Cumberland Fire Department, in the collective bargaining agreement. So I'm asking that you review this, and as you are in our final meeting, if you could...
We are.
What? October.
Oh,
October will be the last meeting of this board.
yeah.
Yeah, the bylaws are specific as to when the next board gets sworn in.
Right.
And I don't remember the language off the top of my head, but it's very quickly after the election.
There was a controversy, right?
Yes.
Whether it was state.
I think it's state.
They went with the state?
I believe so. As soon as the state certifies the election, I think it's...
I thought it was as soon as
No, I think
Cumberland
we said the
certifies.
town.
The town,
I think
the
well,
town.
that's-
I think it was,
As soon
The
as the town.
earlier one,
I think
because
it
people
was
really...
still left ambiguous.
the
Yes.
town.
So October will be the final meeting that this present board will be at. So I'm asking that, take a look at the contract, and if you have some ideas, just get them to me. And I think the next sitting board would be very appreciative of those ideas. That's all. So you have
Actually-
until the October meeting.
We're only going to be losing one person and one of us possibly. The rest is,
Or possibly two of you, or possibly two of you.
oh yes, Mr.
And-
Because Jim's...
One
Jim's
one
at
vote,
large.
one vote Charlie. Yes, and Mr. Scullin.
Right.
Yes, that's right. Good point, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Okay, moving on. Chief?
One other, under general announcements, I'm pleased to report that we were successful on a SAFER grant with the federal government through FEMA to fund, or partially fund, 2 firefighter positions for a 3-year period. The process, I think, needs to be vetted by this committee. There is a handout at each of your workstations this evening for you to review. The back page is a costing factor for the 3 years of a firefighter minus the SAFER grant application. I would like to see if we could meet maybe next week to vet this process. I have 30 days from last Friday to either accept or reject the proposal. So this is for 2 people. It was written under the premise that it would be used for long-term vacancies, and they called for clarification. If there was no long-term vacancies, I explained to them that we have a 12-man minimum and 12 men assigned to shift. That there's always a vacancy, that it might just be numerous places on the shift, but there's always a place to put someone to cover the overtime. So I would like to at least sit in a special session so we can vet the process out completely.
So you would like to set a special session date for next week?
Yes, if it's acceptable to the committee.
Any questions from the board?
I do.
Yeah, Station 4. Where it's at.
Wherever you choose.
Or where we discussed.
We could do it at Station 4. There's a,
Do you want it the whole committee or a subcommittee?
yeah, I think the whole committee should decide on this.
Okay. Can I ask you a couple of questions
Sure.
about the SAFER grants,
Yeah,
please?
you can.
It is in the agenda. It's in the chief's report.
We'll do it on the end.
We'll do it under the chief's report. Okay. All right, thank you. Approval of the minutes. Any other general, I'm sorry, I have one more general announcement. I apologize for that. First of all, I would like to publicly commend 2 of our firefighters who have done, and we all know that firefighters work 24/7. You know, if you are at home on your day off and something happens to your neighbor, the firefighter is next door, is going to go over and help you deal with it. If you have a question at the supermarket and you're out shopping with your little kids and someone comes up and says, hey, where should I be putting my smoke alarms? You answer it. So firefighters are on duty 24/7. A few weeks ago, there was a very tragic motorcycle accident. And Aaron Babikian was the first responder. And he was at home relaxing. And he responded. And as I spoke with Aaron recently, I said, thank you. You were able to keep that man alive for as long as you possibly could. And he was there before any help arrived. And this is what our firefighters do. And I'm really proud to be a part of that. So thank you, Aaron. And then Gary Grenier also had an incident, and shame on me for not understanding it or realizing it, that occurred in the springtime, and he was helping some older adults deal with an issue. And again, not on duty, and that's what firefighters do. So, I am very appreciative, and I want the board to know that we do have firefighters working 24/7, 365 days a year. So thank you to those firefighters.
Who was the second? Who's the second firefighter?
Gary Grenier.
Oh, Gary.
General, well done to the Touch a Truck effort. It was held Sunday.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Highly successful and a very good PR tool for the fire service and for us and the membership in general, and just a good get-together for the area people, not just children. There's a lot of interesting equipment to be seen, so well done on the Touch a Truck.
Thank you, and thank you for being there. Was anyone else? Yeah. Good, thank you.
I was working,
Anything else?
in man.
Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes from 7:24. Is there a motion on the table?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve minutes from 7:24
Second,
by Commissioner Archibald, second by Commissioner Santoro.
Jones.
Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to vote. All in favor of approving the minutes from 7/24/2018, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Passes 6-0. All right, new business, chief's report. Any old business? None. Let's go to the chief's report. Chief?
You can see the runs for the month were 399 predominant EMS responses. 270 of the 399 were EMS responses. We had the fireworks that was successful, no injuries, nothing to report that happened at the Tucker Field for the 4th of July. I'm going to report on the cancellation of the fireworks because of the weather at Diamond Hill Park for the Cumberland Fest. I know that's in August, but that was completely out of our control. The fireworks company did not feel safe and confident in the shoot because of the weather, so that one had to be taken out because of the weather. I've been on a weekly basis having meetings with FEMA in Washington, D.C. and Region 1 out of Boston, along with Rhode Island EMA on the October 3rd Valley Falls rail event that is scheduled. This FEMA in Washington is very happy that Genesee Wyoming Railroad is participating. It's the first time they've had any railroad participate with them on any of their plans or projects. It's still an 8-hour event commencing at 4 p.m., going to midnight. There is a lot of planning going into the event. This was originally scheduled for June, and Rhode Island EMA did not feel comfortable with the process of the controller from FEMA that was writing the program. So they asked FEMA to remove them. They got 2 other people in to write the program. They are much more adept and diligent with their work. Part of their resume was the presidential inauguration earlier this year. So we're right on track for October 3rd. The one thing that has been told to us at last week's meeting is the federal government runs October 1st to September 30th. There's already grumblings about maybe a shutdown. They've assured us that the funding will be there for the program. Some of the assistance may not be there if government shuts down. So this is something that's in flux that they just wanted to put out there ahead of time, but there's nothing in firm play at this point. So it's just one other issue that we'll be dealing with on a local basis. Please?
Is that a Wednesday again?
Yes.
All right, great.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday. The feet on the ground, hands-on exercise will be on Martin Street. The
Now,
Diamond Hill Road construction, that has put a little hindrance in our response, but it's not detrimental. The detail officers are revised as we are responding, and they are clearing traffic and keeping the lane of travel that we need open on our response. So that's worked out well between the detail officers and the response. So there are side roads and alternate routes that are the first choice of response to stay out of some of the thicker backups. But, you know, for the next 18 months, we'll be dealing with this. 2020. Yeah,
2020?
2020.
Oh,
Spring of 2020.
oh, yeah. So in terms of the SAFER grants, Chief, are they gonna pay the full salary for 3 years?
No. No, and that's why one of the things that we have to vet the process on. The first year, they're paying 62%. The second and third year, they're paying 54%.
54.
And
And
we wrote it for much higher than that, but our request was downgraded, which they have the right to do.
it would be 2 firefighters. Are you looking at lateral transfers, or guys going through the academy, or?
I haven't thought about lateral transfers. The next academy is starting in February. By the time we do a testing procedure, it'll work right in with the next academy. I put a tentative hold on 2 spots for the next academy right now. With the award in Smithfield and Woonsocket, I've talked to those 2 fire chiefs, and we've somewhat come to a term. This is something else that I was going to bring up next week, but we wanted to do 1 written test for the 3 communities rather than doing 3 written tests for the same applicants 3 times. Just do 1 written test. Applicants can select either or any community or a particular community. So in our instance, if we tested 35 candidates and 35 passed, we would have to interview or oral interview all 35 candidates. In doing it in the proposed system, we need 2 people, then we could just interview 5 for the 2, so it would concise our time for the interview process, saving us the amount of people we needed, or the amount of manpower hours we need for the oral interview.
Okay. We can discuss it more next week.
Yeah. I will tell you something you can think about between now and then. Part of the grant process is if on today I have to submit a table of organization with the department staffing, and in the 3 years of the SAFER grant, those 2 members cannot replace any retirements or anybody that leaves the job. So in the 3-year period, the 51 people that are assigned right now, 48 on shift, 3 on staff, if 1 or 2 people leave, we have to hire additional people. The SAFER grant people cannot fill in. After the 3rd year, once the grant terminates, then they can be used for that process. But during the grant period, anybody that leaves has to be replaced outside of the SAFER grant.
Maybe pull a couple of deputies off the deputies off the trucks.
But we could do a lot of things.
All right. Should we set a date for the meeting?
Thursday the 6th would be perfect. Sorry, thank you. Thursday the 6th would be perfect to set a date for next week's meeting.
Chief, you need a work,
Like at the library, or do you think it should be done at the station, or?
Or here?
Library would probably be more comfortable.
A small room?
Be a meeting room, right?
Yeah.
You know how much I'd
Get
be
one
out
of
for
the- what time did you say?
It will-
Thursday.
Thursday, what time?
7.
7?
I can't get there any earlier.
Meeting is actually supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday?
Thursday at 7.
So you'd be looking at having... When does the academy end? What's it, like a 12, 8, 16? They be starting like in January? Chief? They be starting working in like January?
February, when they would go to the...
February?
Yeah. Probably the last week of January to get some indoctrination done.
Yep.
But the next academy is starting in February, so they would be going to that academy.
And in 3 years from now, we have 54, including yourself. 53 firefighters and...
For the next 3 years, we would have 54, yes.
Okay, and after that point, We can, okay.
Yeah, and after that point, you know, we can decide if we need to keep them.
Yeah.
At 54, depending on what the complexities of the town are then, yeah, you know,
Whatever.
my crystal ball is
Yeah.
very foggy on a lot of issues, so I don't want to speculate at this point.
All right. I guess you can say, I guess congratulations on getting a grant. Good job getting the grant.
I wish the funding would have been higher. You know, we wrote it for much higher. It would have been much more appealing, but that's why we need to vet this out as an entire board to determine if we want to go forward. You'll have a week to look at the information, and we can make a clear, good decision next week.
All right, we can continue this conversation next Thursday. Thank you very much. Any other questions for the chief regarding his report? Okay.
How many fires last month?
12.
12 fires in 1 month? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of fires. No major fires though, right? Oh, yeah. 12 fires?
Yes.
Anything major?
No, we knocked them,
Okay,
pretty much knocked them down quickly.
that was Mill Street, right?
We had some really good stops.
Yeah, excellent. You guys always do, so
Yeah.
that's great. Good job. Thank you. Can I ask, it's a chief, this is a mixed finance chief question. Are we getting reimbursed well for the extrications from the vehicles on the highways?
The MVA reimbursement is very slow in coming in, coupled with the fact that we haven't had an extrication in probably about 2 months, believe it or not.
Oh, don't jinx yourself.
It's just,
What's that?
you know, it's good that people are cautiously driving, but on the revenue stream, it's down. It's not hitting the mark that we were hoping for.
And just so you know, I did check with the chief over in Lime Rock, where they're providing ALS services, starting IVs and giving meds and the whole bit, to see if they're making money, to see if, we used to be ALS and do all that stuff. And he said no. He's just doing it because the people need to have ALS services, and the Lime Rock District is absorbing all the expenses of all their trucks.
Do they have Twin River?
Yes. And I talked to him last night, and Chief Walsh, he said he wish he could, but they don't get paid one dime. I had hoped that we could have worked on a system that we could have adopted here, and the chief and I, we talked about that. I did research it. I looked online as well for a way for a fire district to get reimbursed for the EMS work we do. Like Aaron had that call, he did a lot of work, from what I understand. I mean, the guys...
Yeah, but he wasn't even on duty. That
No, I mean,
was
but
the
not
point.
Aaron, but the guys from Engine 4.
Yes.
I went down and talked to the deputy. They all, it's
And Engine 4 did a
unfortunate.
fabulous job. They did a fabulous job.
But I mean, our guys do so much EMS work that we don't get reimbursed. But I did try.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. Our financial report.
We have June and July included in the packet this week. Typically year-end, it takes us a little bit longer to wrap up the closing entries. So the June report has been delayed for a month. If we look at our bottom line for year-end, we have a deficit of $180,000. That's an unaudited number. It will change once the auditors complete their report. Doesn't typically become a lesser number. It usually becomes higher, but we'll see. Given that we did underfund our overtime budget by a lot more than this. I think that we did pretty well staying within the rest of the budget. And we did save some money in other places so that our deficit was not $500,000. We're hoping with the next couple of years, the additional tax cap of 4%, that we'll be able to pay this down. The report that I prepare for the Auditor General every quarter usually contains what they call a fund balance. And a fund balance is what we would have if you take away our deficits and our losses. What do we have left in cash? And we are still in the positive for fund balance. And that's something that they are very happy about. So I just wanted to point that out. Paul Santoro sent me some questions about 16. I put copies of them on your stations, and I also printed all the answers to those questions. I don't know if anybody's had any time to read them. I just gave them to you tonight, so I apologize for that. Are there any questions on these finance reports? Or at least the June finance report?
Yes. So the June one was run in July, okay. Why does the town charge us $2,000 to get records of deeds?
Because they charge to record deeds. They charge everybody to record a deed. And after we have a tax sale, there's something called a collector's deed that has to be filed because it gets filed against that property. The town charges for that. We bill, in turn, it actually goes on the account, we get paid for it, so it is a wash.
Oh, it does wash out eventually?
Yes, it's not an expense. It's just like tax sale, you see tax sale fees, you see tax sale expenses.
Yeah.
It's money we take in, money we pay out.
I remember talking with you and Dennis last year about changing from the accrual method to the real method. Is that going to happen, or did you?
Accrual to cash. Last year we switched to the accrual method.
Yeah.
It became confusing.
Yeah.
I have switched back to the cash method this year against the advice of our accountant. He would like to at least see me break down the tax revenue into 12 months, because otherwise, if you look at the bottom line for July, I think we have a $3 million gain for the month of July. It's not a realistic number. So if it's okay with the board, I think I will go ahead and do that and at least break the taxes out so that every month, if you want to know exactly what's being collected, you will have to look at the tax collector report that's included with the finance report, and you can also look at the balance sheet receivables, and that will tell you how much is outstanding for taxes. So you can look in two places for that. But for the month of July, I just did strictly cash basis, but it gives a pretty unrealistic monthly picture.
Really?
Yes. We do not have a $3 million profit.
No, but it kind of, it just seems to make a little more sense how much you've collected in taxes. And I understand you break it down, but it seems to me that we see the $3 million, the bump in July, and then we're going to see 400,000, and then 100.
It's entirely, if the committee wants me to stick with strictly cash basis because it's easier to understand, that's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, I have a hard time going from this first page with the tax collector's report over to the other one, that's all. It's my personal opinion. I'm not sure what the rest of you guys feel. And Diane, you're in charge of the finance department, so I'll defer to your opinion, actually. Whatever's best for you. Yeah, exactly. What else did I ask?
motion to accept the June financial report?
Well, I haven't even seen July. I had a question about one in July.
Let's accept motion, there's a motion on the table to accept June's.
June.
Is there a second? Second. Oops. There's a motion on the table to accept June's. Is there a second? Second. Okay, so motion by Commissioner Ashenball, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor of accepting the June report, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0. Commissioner Santoro.
I think I asked it, I can't find the answer. In our total current assets in the previous fiscal year were 8 million, and this year they're 6 million. Is that one of the questions you answered? That I haven't had a chance to read?
It is. You have a question about why the total current assets dropped?
Yeah,
Is that the one?
yes.
Well, if you have to look up at you look at the makeup of the cash, it's made up of cash and receivables. If you also look at the total current liabilities, they decrease by that same amount. So if we paid off the TANs, then the note would also decrease. So that number decreases with liabilities as well. So
It's just a big number, $2 million seems like...
right. We paid off the TANs. Our receivables dropped.
Receivables dropped?
Right. We collected, just in June, we collected $1.8 million in cash towards the June taxes, and let's see. All right. I'm looking at a different question. So you wanted to know how did the total assets be reduced by 1.5 million? The receivables decreased due to the tax payments, and our cash balance increased. So you have to compare the line item for current assets on June and the July balance sheets to see those increases and decreases.
Okay.
Any other questions? Commissioner.
During our exec session, we're talking about, I'm not getting into what the details, but Patrick's in the audience, just like to thank him. We understand that the office is running very well, so thank you, Patrick. That's in the tax collector's office.
Thank you. All right. Moving motion, is there a motion on the table?
Motion to accept the July report.
Motion to accept the July report by Commissioner Archambault. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor of accepting the July finance report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Passes 6-0. Okay, thank you. Resolutions. Just want to make sure we've got this here. Okay. Resolution 2018, number 23, increasing the salary of the Finance Director, Diane Karaloshin, to $32,000 annually. So, by voting, it resolved the Cumberland Fire Committee hereby increases Diane's Karaloshin salary to $32,000 for 20 hours per week or 80 hours per month. Is there a motion on the table?
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept resolution number 23 by Commissioner Archambault. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santoro. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of accepting this resolution, number 23, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Passes 5-1. Next resolution, number 24, authorizing the business manager to pay Ralco Equipment Company an amount not to exceed $4,115.81 to repairs to Ladder 1. Is there a motion on the table to accept this resolution?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Santoro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pacone.
Was
Any
it
discussion?
Minuteman? But it says, whereas Minuteman Trucks has made repairs to Ladder 1.
Oh, that should be,
That should be Ralco.
so you should make a motion to amend.
I make a motion that we amend line 7 to read, whereas Ralco Equipment Company has made repairs to Ladder 1.
Motion to amend line 7 on resolution number 24 to read, to remove Minuteman Truck and read Ralco Equipment Company by Commissioner Santoro, seconded by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor of accepting the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Okay.
How about the whole motion?
Now we need to, is there a motion on the table to accept the amended resolution number 24?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Santoro, is there a second? Second. Seconded by Commissioner Pacone. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of accepting resolution number 24, paying Ralco Equipment $4,115.81. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0.
I'd like to thank Ralco again for discounting the labor.
Thank you. Is there a motion on, general comments, public comments? Anybody in the public want to come up and say anything? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Santoro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archibald. All in favor of adjourning this meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Meeting is adjourned.